Greetings, humanity, and welcome once again to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim, and I use he/him pronouns, and this is Alas for the Angry Void, a reskinning of Alas for the Awful Sea by Storybrewers Roleplaying to tell a gothic science fiction story set among the stars. We're going to go around and say hi to the folks we have here with us today, and we will be starting with Hollow. Hello!
Hello. I'm Hollow. I'm playing Jackson Mead, the Merchant Confidant.
Excellent. And now we will head over to Cleric. Hello.
Hello, I'm Cleric of Cord. I will be playing Fergus, who's the old sea dog, and the creature. They both use he/him pronouns. I use she/her.
Excellent. And now we will head over to Robin. Hello.
Hello, I'm Robin. I use whatever pronouns, and today I am playing Rust Worsley, who uses he/him pronouns and is the surgeon and the outcast.
Excellent. And finally over to Katy. Hello.
Hi, I'm Katy. I'm going to be playing Levitt Teague, the mercenary and the lover. We both use they, she pronouns. I'm very sorry that my camera is blurry. It is broken, I think. Next time I'm here. Yeah, it's a very... it's an aesthetic that I'm going for. We'll just deal with it.
It's very ethereal. It's very good. And I think the cat only improves it, really.
I'm entering my evil villain phase, basically. He wants to get down really bad.
Excellent.
He said bye. He only gets out of bed for $10,000 a day. No pictures.
Go.
Oh
man.
Yeah.
Got it made. Unfortunately, Mem is not feeling well today, so she will not be able to join us. But we have her very much in our thoughts. But before we dive in here, you may see us use safety tools from time to time. Like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or hold up a card and make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat, and to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then we can, everyone else can respond to that again with an X and N or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game may contain gothic themes, like gloom, despair, intense emotions, macabre scenes, romance, and curses, along with references to violence, alien creatures, colonialism, crime, death, exploitation, family issues, separation from family, homesickness, loneliness, starvation, sudden decompression, the vacuum of space, and vengeance. And you can see that if you're here and watching on Twitch by in the chat typing !Alas CW or content warning, and that will show up. It's also going to be on regular rotation. It'll keep coming through there. Also, please remember that we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. So, an altercation is about to take place. And because it will be happening in the Tauran sector on the planet Metaxas, the Void will feel it a touch more than it does other such conflicts. There is a low humming discomfort beginning that threatens to become more. To humanity, the planet was once a major trading hub, a halfway point between the rich planet Epitome and the far-flung Porphyrion cluster. But since the shift about a century ago from the use of singularity drives to the mineral argillite, roots have changed, and due largely to political and economic factors, the Porphyrion cluster has lost its allure. Metaxas has dwindled in importance, and many of its residents have grown cynical and desperate, giving up or clinging as tightly as they can to what business they have. Only the Crown Mining Company stays afloat for long, for the planet is a source of argillite. And if their marketing is to be believed, only Crown Mining can properly extract it. This imbalance is, of course, not popular. Louder and louder voices are rising to oppose the company's practices, or even the practice of commerce altogether, as contention is spread to many, many circles. The particular conflict of which we speak is being sparked by Jackson Mead, a purveyor of canned goods, whose argument with the local head of the Ashen movement within the Darist religion has spiraled into a loss of some of his inventory and a loud and pointed altercation between the Darists and the port merchants of the colony's outer ring. But before the fight proceeds in earnest, let us recall what's happening with the other crew members of the Chimera, who arrived here less than an hour ago. Levitt Teague, a former aristocrat turned assassin, is seeking work and has been directed to the Forsaken Resolve, a seedy establishment where they have been given a paging device that will put them in contact with a client who has been described to them as dangerous. Levitt's ex-lover, Dr. Rust Worsley, a disgraced surgeon who believes himself responsible for the death of Levitt's father, has sought the aid of a colleague, Dr. Florence Stoppard, for a condition he's developed. Veins in his body that have visibly blackened. Dr. Stoppard has informed Rust that at some point in the past, he was exposed to an alien virus that has been poisoning his blood, and that he has, at most, months to live. Stoppard has informed Rust that it is possible whoever introduced the virus into his system might have a cure, and has provided Rust with the name of a better-equipped associate who lives on the Inner Ring, and who might be able to tell him more. Meanwhile, Irina Maynard, a Darist scholar, has gone to a bookseller to research possible connections between figures in her religion and reports of alien life forms in the sector. She has discovered information about Caledron, a being venerated as a saint or a demigod descended from an unpleasant deity known as the Warden. It turns out that Caledron, whose body is said to be kept at a religious site on Mela Space Station, may not be dead after all, for some texts say that he is merely sleeping. And Fergus, the Chimera's pilot and engineer, a perfectly normal human, after landing on Metaxas and letting his cat friend Trinket out to explore for a little while, has some things to do. Let's find out what those things are. Fergus, you said that you needed an hour to do things before you were going to circle back and set things up at the bookstore for Jackson so that he can get his permits more easily. What stuff are you doing? What stuff have you been doing?
Oh, Fergus is bribing people to get a permit forged.
Ah, excellent. Good. This is appreciated. What sort of people do you typically need to bribe for this, do you think?
Well, it's not the government per se. It's the ones who really control the market, the few of the established vendors that kind of control things, police their own, as it will, because the corporate doesn't really care. This is a dockside market. It's not the actual market for those who live on the planet. So they tend to police themselves, and so Fergus is going to go visit a few old friends and make some trades, bribes to these vendors, and get a It'll pass inspection if anybody asks, but since he's already talking to them, nobody's going to ask.
Yeah. So you're just looking for someone who's like an outer ring, just someone who get not necessarily the authority, but the people who the authorities ask.
It's a couple of the more established vendors there.
Yeah.
They're not the ones setting up stalls. They've got actual buildings. Like Percival is one of those people. And so
yeah, I got you. And you're going to be circling around to Percival sometime soon, I would think.
Yeah, as soon as he's done. Yeah.
Yeah. So that being the case, then, let's see how we do with this. So yeah, that was the main thing. So you're not trying to get any sort of space in the inner ring. This is just basically the amongst the port merchants is more what we're talking about. Excellent.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They don't want to let these old the spacers are not supposed to be on the inner ring because they cause problems. So they try to confine them to the outer ring, and this is one of the ways they do that.
That's absolutely fair. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to call for a move here.
All right.
Before I call for a move, do you have any particular moves that just on either of your personal sheets that would apply in this situation?
Well, I could use my creature move for others like me, but I don't know that there are any here. So
that's the question, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So he wouldn't really be. Yeah, no, he wouldn't be calling on them. He doesn't. As far as he's aware, he's alone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Okay. So we're just going to go with one of the standard thingies.
Okay.
Let's see here. So these are folks that you have met before that you were looking for.
Oh, yeah. He's dealt with them many times at this port.
We're going to take this down to just a manipulate another roll to see just sort of overall kind of how well you're doing with that, and we'll invent people as necessary as we're establishing this. This is rolling plus beauty.
Yes, well, Farkas is definitely not a beauty, as evidenced by the -1 in the stat. So let's see.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, so that's a 5. I need to make some things worse. Oh yeah. Wow. Okay. So there are going to be some issues, I think, when it comes to this. And let me look at my little chart of things real quick that I have put together here. Yes.
For anyone that doesn't know me, RNGesus does not like me, so my rolls will generally be pretty bad.
So here's here's the thing. So you're going to talk to a couple of folks that you know.
Okay.
And the initial sort of impression you're getting is that this is something that, it's like one of them is like, yeah, sure, no problem. But as far as, because they've done this for you before, it's not a big deal. But there is there's kind of a thing you notice, like there are like one or two other folks that you go to that are, and as you're doing this whole time, these folks in these ashen robes, and some of them have blue armbands, have been protesting. This just the sale of anything on this planet, the exploitation of this planet, kind of the idea that the planet is getting the idea that they're talking about the planet being sacred, and that humanity has gone too far in sort of marring it with its continued greed, and something that you are going to note. It takes a little bit longer because of these people for you to get to the folks you need to get to.
Mhm.
And you're going to note that at one of the individuals who you're going to be talking to, let me grab a thing real quick. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, let's go with. Yeah, let's go in that direction. So you're about to talk to an individual named Talon Nance. Talan. Although a lot of people, will just call them Talon because it's sort of a gimmick because they sell basically this the sort of bird-related merchandise. As this planet does not have a lot of fauna on it, I'm gonna say, but there is like this strange kind of. It has mountains, a lot of rocks. There are these birds that have become kind of popular in the area. These, and so that's a. It's this kind of. I guess the closest thing to this. It's kind of eagle-ish, sort of a space eagle type deal. And so they sell kind of memorabilia and things of that nature that are there, and they have inns with a number of the folks who homestead here, and some of the folks who were here before the company came, or whose families were anyway, and so. You're going up to talk to Talon, and someone is standing there at his booth, kind of with a clipboard. Not a wooden clipboard. This is a space clipboard, so it's more of a tablet type deal. But it gives off the aura of clipboard, and you're basically, just telling them they slap this thing down on their desk, and they sort of step away. And it's just kind of like after and just sort of shaking his head. They're shaking their head. Talon will see you and sort of wave. They're kind of this kind of skinny individual. They have very little hair. What they have is sort of on the top and pulled back. And they're indeterminate age. But they will they'll tell you. That's good to see you. Hey.
Hey, Tal. Yeah, I need a permit. I mean, not a real one. It's for somebody that's on the ship. Trying to help them out. We just docked less than an hour ago.
We have a problem. You see that? And points up, and you see this kind of almost badge emblem that has been placed kind of on the side. They have a building where they sell a bunch of this memorabilia and things. I think I got General Planet memorabilia. This is like one of the oldest tourist shops, basically, in this place. But this is a part that's kind of open to the.
Right.
There's a window that's open to the public, sort of at the sign that he's at right now, because business isn't great right now because there are cultists in the way. It sort of looks you sort of, and you see this this shield that's up there, and is like, so we've got approvals we have to do now, unfortunately.
What do you
We
mean
can't,
approvals?
Yeah, we can't just. They're locking down controls on permits.
Oh. You know the Corp doesn't care for this place.
You'd think. But they've apparently they've been getting nervous, especially the last couple of weeks since that lot's been here. They just sort of gesture out toward the gray robed folks.
Fucking zealots, ruining everything for
You're
everybody.
telling me. I mean, I think to a certain extent, I appreciate what they do, because it'd be a lot easier if the company weren't up in all our business. But
Well, they're definitely bad for business. So how am I supposed to get a permit now?
now you got to talk to one of the toffs on the inside.
Right. All right. Yeah. Does it matter which one?
Well, the higher you go, the better, the easier it is. And a lot of this is kind of overseen by that aging doctor fella. But there's it pretty much, you get to any of the lieutenants, and that is probably enough.
All right. I appreciate it. How much time do I have left on my hour before I'm supposed to meet Jackson?
Funny thing about that, so you've got about, I want to say you've got like a little over 20 minutes at this point, and so I would like to know what direction you're heading.
Fergus is going to shove his way through the crowd to the building. Again, Fergus, he's not very
What building
he's
are we
not
talking about?
the one where where he has to go to get the permits.
Okay, yes. So that's closer to the inner ring, so that's going to be a few blocks over, and you have to get in. But I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Fergus is not overly tall. He's not, he's maybe average height, but he is solid, and he is broad.
Excellent.
He is a boulder moving through crowds. Just does not care what's in his way. He's just going to push through. There aren't many people that can physically force him off his path once he's moving.
So I will need you to intimidate another for me. Please roll plus brawn.
Okay. That's more in his wheelhouse. That's a 10.
Excellent. Excellent. So this means that you get to choose this. The people that you're trying to cooperate with you cave in and do what you want, or they endure the consequences of your threat. Which of those two do you choose?
Oh, they cave in and do what I want.
Excellent.
He's just bullying through.
So the sea of humanity parts for you, and you are able to get exactly where you need to go as you are coming through and around and over to the permit office, which stands just before the bridge that leads to the inner circle. Now, there is a little bit of a line, but you're able to sort of like, do what you gotta to kind of get up there.
As Fergus, people give way to him.
Yeah, it's gotta be, right? So as you get up there, yes. Let me grab that. There we go. So you see that you see this office, and there is You see a lady sort of behind a desk. She's wearing a uniform, a company uniform. That indicates she is part of company security. And so she will look up and be like, "Yes, how can I help you?"
Brooks takes off his hat, pulls in his hand, says, "Miss, I need a temporary permit from one of the merchants off the CS Chimera. We just docked about an hour ago, and if you'd be so kind as to give me one, I'd really appreciate it."
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to decide if I want you to attempt
bribe her.
anything here. Well,
see what you don't
she's
understand.
reaching for a form to hand you right now. Is there a thing you want to try to do here?
Yeah, as he's watching her through that. Now, understand that we just came in, and this is part of our trade. And when was the last time you had real ham?
Her hand her hand stops for a moment. I need you to. We're manipulating another, so I'm going to need you once again to roll plus beauty, please.
Okay. Please.
As we see what real ham does here. Real ham, unfortunately, is insufficient. So she stops for a second and is like, "Excuse me, sir. Are you trying to insinuate or into this situation?
Oh,
Are you attempting a
no.
bribe of some
I'm
sort?
just explaining. No. I'm just explaining that the merchant, what he's selling is real ham, which I think would be something that, might be popular on the market for the next several days while we're in dock. And
yes, I see. She's reaching for now a couple of forms. Right? Now, there are a couple of things we're going to need you to fill out.
Of course.
And she's reaching for them, and at that moment there is a loud sound of there's like coming from outside, and she's pulled up one of the forms and has set it on her desk. She's reaching for another, and she hears the fracas, and she sort of will get up and she will come around and look out the door.
Fergus will reach across the desk and start taking one of each form, including the one that's on her desk, so that he already has. He's not going to wait for her.
Well, you start doing that, and she immediately begins speaking into, because she's distracted. She is talking into a little communicator here, and she's and says, "Scramble the guard." Oh, God. Scramble the guard. We're going to need to go into lockdown on this for a little bit. And she will just idly over her shoulder toward you, she'll say, "Sorry about this." She hits a button, and these metal these metal doors come slamming down over the exit and the window.
Oh, well, that'll make it more
And
peaceful.
an alarm begins going off.
Distraction. I can fill these out now without distraction.
Yeah.
He just starts filling out the forms on her counter.
And you can see her scrambling around the desk and starting to communicate with some folks. That apparently it seems as though there is some kind of... There's a thing starting they're needing to pull security up for.
Miss, I've never been in this town without something starting up. I'm not saying I started any of it. I'm just saying it seems like whenever we're in here, there's always something happening.
And I think on that we're going to cut over. So we're going to cut over to Levitt. Hello. So you are down in a bar. And you have been handed this device. You pressed the button on it. After you were sitting in a booth, you pressed the button. And this little sort of amber, this dark amber light begins blinking on it.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably to inform whoever it is that you are interested in the job. And you only really have to wait about, I'll say, maybe 10 minutes. And
in those 10 minutes, I have gotten another drink, and I've turned on the most obnoxious song on the jukebox.
Excellent.
I don't know what that is, but it's like the most obnoxious song in there.
Good. Yes. Let's see. This is the Forsaken Resolve. I'm imagining that it might be on the, in the, sort of that in the under zone, possibly. I'm not sure.
I imagine it's if you like pina coladas, actually.
Yeah. It's probably something of that nature. It's one of those weird sort of light and fruity songs where it's like...
That totally does not match the aesthetic of this bar. Yeah.
And they're like... People are like...
Yeah, what's new, pussycat? Yeah.
The equivalent of, the modern, the futuristic equivalent of Tom Jones is singing this, crooning out this ballad.
Joke, that what's new, pussycat 20 times joke. Yeah.
Yeah. And people are sort of like, what the hell? Who the hell put this on? And you see like little minor, almost little brawls start over this, but it's fine. People are like, dear God, what the hell? And that's that thing. It's like, what like after it gets to the end and it starts playing again, the people are like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. And Lev is just loving it.
People are coming up to the bar and like being like, what's going on? There's somebody paid for it. There's the thing. And there is like one person who is, there are one or two people who are singing along obnoxiously to it because they're either terribly drunk or they just have a great deal of Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
And you will see two things. The first thing is you'll see a couple of individuals in long coats, wearing kind of shades and long coats, are going to come into the bar and start moving in your direction. The second thing that you see that is not completely related, but is someone pokes their head out from a side room, hearing the music again. And is like, and as they are stepping out with sort of that look of like, I've heard that music somewhere before on their face. They're just sort of wandering out and getting ready to, and actually it looks like they're possibly on their way out. But this individual who has stepped out from one of the side rooms is someone you recognize, you realize after a few moments. It's been a few years. This is, let me find the person. There it is. Her name is Scylla Crane. She has long hair that's kind of purplish. And she's dressed in sort of gray and black. She is a smuggler. And when last you saw her, you left her in a in a faraway system, as she was one of Hickory's group.
It takes Levitt a moment to clock that. What was her name again?
Her name is Scylla Crane.
Scylla. It takes Levitt a moment to clock who it is, and immediately she ducks down into the booth, like, oh, I don't know. You didn't see me. Nope, it's not me.
Like,
No, not me. Like I don't like. Does this place have like napkins or a menu? I don't know, but anything she can do to like cover her face, just like trying to be as inconspicuous as possible. Like,
so, unless you have So unless you already have another move for this, I'm going to ask you to act under pressure.
Is that balance?
That is balance, yes.
7.
Balanche. So yes, you falter, buckle, or break. The GM can offer you a worse outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice. Let's see. So you have, so here are your options. She doesn't see you, but the people you're trying to get the job with don't see you either. And you'll have to chase them down. That's option 1. Option 2 is they both see you. Both the people you're trying to get a job from and her see you. So which of those options do you prefer?
I'll chase them down.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
You hide very well. And these folks in the coats, they're like looking around. They can't see you, they can't find you. You're laser focused on Scylla right now. And she just she turns for a moment, she's like goes up to the bar. And she's like, sort of says something about that you can't quite overhear about, the music. She just sort of shakes her head, just sort of strangely nostalgically almost. And
Levitt does this everywhere she goes.
So,
Levitt's signature bit.
It's like she's a little suspicious, and the bartender's just again like, she's like, yeah. And Scylla's like, all right, whatever. And she turns, she hikes her, weapons are allowed in here, it seems. So she hikes this slightly larger pistol she has stowed up on her shoulder, and she turns and she walks out.
I sit up and I'm like, got a smile on my face because I've avoided her. And then I look around and notice that the two people in the coats are there, and I go, shit. And I immediately stand up and I give it like a breath to let Scylla like go out and probably get swallowed up by a crowd outside. And then I'm out running and like looking around for these people in the coats.
Excellent. Let's see. So
I actually think I'm gonna like look, and then I'm gonna go to like the nearest, because I don't think Levitt would like rely on their own like perception, because Levitt knows that they're not the smartest, like not the smartest person, not the smart like most perceptive person. So like immediately would go to like I guess like a street stall merchant type of person that might be hawking something on the side of the street, and go like, darling, have you seen anyone? And like we'll give a description of the coat and the like the height, sunglasses, all that kind of thing. Like really, really sort of like, they look like they might kill you in an instant. Have you seen these two people? I need to know which direction they went.
Okay, I can see this rolling in one of two directions. Where, yeah, I think you're gonna be able to find them. It's just sort of a question of how it comes out. So I'm tempted to do another under pressure roll for this. But we could do we can do this as manipulate another, if you prefer.
Is that
that would be plus beauty. Yeah.
Okay, maybe this will get better for me.
Yeah.
A 9.
Okay. They change the terms to suit themselves or demand concrete assurance first. So the guy at the stand who's sort of got he sort of looks like just sort of very shriveled individual, but he's got piercings and the sort is he's sort of hanging from this thing. He's like, here, hey, you want to buy something? And it sort
Not
of shows
particularly.
these little things of these strange kind of It's he's selling these odd-looking parasols that
Like
are
big
like
big parasols.
yeah, some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, and they have these weird designs on them.
I'm not really in the market for anything.
The colors clash horribly.
I just sort of needed some help.
Yeah, you want to buy something?
No.
Well, I didn't know as I can help you much, miss.
I don't have any money.
He's sort of shifting around a little bit.
Oh,
I'll tell you what. You want to hand out a few flyers?
Sure.
All right. He grabs a handful of flyers, which he is. All right, there. When you get a chance, you go up and take care of that. And you note the flyers have little. It's slightly thicker paper, the corner of which you will note as he sort of waves it so that you can see it very clearly. It has this little blinking light on it, so there's kind of a thing where he can trace where the flyers are going.
Mm-hmm.
This is a technology you have encountered before. He says, "All right, well, your fellows are heading down that way and turned right."
Thank you.
Thank you.
As she takes it, she's going to go down. She's gonna head that way and grab like the nearest little urchin kid and take like a piece of like costume jewelry that she has and be like, come here.
Mm-hmm.
Hand these out for me and I'll give you this shiny. I'm talking to you. Come here.
She just sort of wanders up.
It's worth at least a mil.
You look. She'll reach up to she'll cautiously reach up. Yeah. Towards it. She will. Are you giving her the shiny and the flyers at the same time? I think that's the question. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And yeah, she will snatch both of them, and she'll nod, and she'll start scampering off to do something with the flyers.
Yeah, Leva doesn't care. She's gone. She's following the people.
Yeah. We're not clear on where these flyers will end up, but I'll make a minor note
Leva
here.
didn't get anyone to hand them out, Leva was just going to throw them away anyway, so...
It's fair.
And I think like the jewelry is like, it's not totally fake. It's probably like it's not like an expensive gem, but it's like something that is, Jim, don't write down a consequence for later. Don't do that.
No, of course not.
Typing. I hear you tip-tapping away. Stop.
It's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
It would genuinely be like Leva would know it's something that would help this kid out, like at least with a meal later. But it's like nothing that's gonna hurt Levitt.
No, absolutely. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. So you are going to be able to catch up with these fellas in coats. It's not going to take too terribly long. As they're sort of turning and heading towards an elevator, and you'll see that they're stopped because they have to wait for the elevator to come. Because again, you're down sort of on the underring at this point. And
Levitt sees them in the distance and is like, collects herself, like cool, like she didn't just chase after them. She like brushes herself off. You know, they're cool.
You could say it's a man and a woman standing there. You're going to approach them, get their attention?
Levitt walks up, you know, like has that little like swagger about them, and is like, I'm sorry, I think you were looking for me back in that fine establishment. Sorry, I was a little distracted. I called for you.
I'm just going to note to the audience at this time that I normally mute my mic before I do a lot of typing on the keyboard, but I felt it would be so much more, I would get so much more out of it if everyone could hear it. It is a louder keyboard, though. Anyway, so she lowers her glasses. She sort of looks at you over her glasses, over these like single piece shades, and it's like, did you?
Yes, the little thingy remote.
And she sort of turns and looks at the eyes like, we didn't see you in there.
I know I'm very good at hiding. That should already be a check in my favor. If I don't want you to see me, you won't.
I'm gonna ask you to manipulate another again. Again, unless you have something you want to use here.
No. I did.
Okay.
I'm so good.
I'm supposed to be asking you to make a promise, but I'm sort of using this a little more loosely. But they're like, and she takes it. She's like, well, it's a good line anyway. Come on. And the elevator doors open, and they'll ask you to come in with them where they're headed.
Yeah, Levitt follows.
Okay. Let me see. Where are we? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do a very brief segue here, because I do need to come back to this to see what happens, but I also want to see a couple of other things. So you are on your way to a place. Something I will need to know is, so Rust was going to head, you said, back to the ship, is that correct? Or where were you headed, Rust? What were you doing?
Yes, I was headed back to the ship.
Because you got some supplies and things after your diagnosis and such, so that's like the first thing what you're doing then, is heading shipward. Okay. So depressedly heading there. There is, on your normal route that you would take to climb back up sort of the steps up to, from the under ring up to the outer ring. You will note that there is some kind of there's a little bit of a mob in the way, possibly. You hear a lot of sort of yelling and scuffling on the upper outer ring. Are you going to try to sort of push your way through, or are you going to take another way to get back?
I will try to circumvent the go around.
We shall attempt to circumnavigate this thing. I don't think you're necessarily under a phenomenal amount of pressure for this, so I don't know if I would necessarily want to call for a roll for this or not. Because you're eventually going to make it there. But part of me wants to read some tea leaves.
Wants to complicate some things. Yeah, yes, that's fine.
To see sort of what's where. So I'm actually going to ask real quick, couple of things. Okay, yes, here we go. So I'm going to give you a choice. Are you trying to get back entirely on just like knowledge of where things are in this place, or are you more feeling your way back?
Oh, knowledge.
Okay. In that case,
Rust
You're
is
just-
not a vibes-based navigator.
no, it's fine. I'm just gonna have you act under pressure if you don't mind terribly. I'd like you to roll plus balance. Acting under pressure does a lot of heavy lifting in this game. Okay, falter, buckle, or break. This is not going to be terrible. You're just trying to find your way back, right?
Yes.
So, here is your choice. You will find your way back after a particularly long period of time, or you will find your way back in not as long a period of time, but will encounter or see a thing that might give you pause.
Oh, definitely the second one.
Okay. You're going to see Levitt getting onto an elevator with a couple of folks who look like they're some kind of high-class security. Folks in long coats are escorting her for some reason. Also, a little child runs up to you and wants to hand you a flyer.
I accept the flyer.
Okay. And, yeah, you do note also there's like one of the under-ring vendors nearby is just kind of like just shaking their head at the you think at the people in the coats, but as though there's like something going on there, maybe. But anyway, these are the things that you have encountered and noticed.
May I approach the vendor?
You may approach the vendor if you wish. So, I think for the sake of realism, I need to make this a different vendor from the parasol vendor. So this is someone.
Different parasol vendor.
It's a different parasol vendor. This is someone selling meat on sticks.
Parasols are a big deal here, actually.
This is someone selling its bird meat of some kind of bird on sticks. And you'll
I'm not going
you'll-
to ask
says-
how I can tell it's bird meat.
They say it's bird meat.
well it's
It's
yeah
ad- is
the,
it-
the sign says bird meat.
Oh, great. Straightforward advertising.
Yes, that's
I
right.
appreciate that.
And so she's going to look up, and so she's going to see you. And, how can I help you?
I couldn't help but notice you also saw those mysterious looking people. Who
Oh,
would they be? I'm not familiar with the area, so
them.
to speak.
and she's going to. She's not going to pull the same thing the parasol person did because that would be too cliche. But she will say, "Oh, that's the. Actually, let me see what I assigned names to things. Give me a second. Yeah. Oh, them. We don't want to mess with them. They're out of their minds. Them's the heard of them. Heard tell of them for a bit. Ascendancy troops.
Ascendancy troops.
Yeah, trouble.
What in the world does that mean?
Trouble. Oh, they're not quite. It's Richtoft's in it. They've got it kind of this, I don't know, secret society type thing. Probably. It's not that secret. Yeah. Trying to follow some kind of, vision of nobility, that kind of thing. They,
I understand.
Out of their minds, they're kind of a cult.
Really?
I say anyway. No trouble. They just go where they want, do whatever they want. They've got enough people in their pockets that they can, get away with a lot. Get away with murder, probably. Oh, they have, actually. Sometimes they fight each other in the streets. It's really strange.
And people who work with them, do they treat their contractors well?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know, sir. But, I could say that, I'd say that my understanding is they pick someone up that's outside their circle, and they just use them and dispose of them as fast as possible. That's what I hear. Wouldn't like to be around when whoever is a contract in them is done with their job. That's all I can say. Don't know if they're going to let them go or just skewer them.
That's very dire.
What not to do with that lot?
Well, thank you for the information.
You hungry? Just sort of offering a sample of meat on a stick.
I'm not going to turn it down.
It's a little bit of meat. It's a sample, so it's just a little bit on a stick.
I take it, but a little hesitantly. What does it taste like?
This is going to follow. I'm going to follow the standard hole in the wall dining place rule, and it's actually really good.
Okay.
It's
then I will.
It's kind of like chicken, but it's kind of closer to it tastes a little bit like you would expect a higher grade or rarer type of bird to taste, essentially.
All right. I will pay her for a full bird on a stick.
All right.
And then can I go and give it to the urchin who gave me the flyer?
You can. Oh my God. So, yes. So you run over. So you find the urchin again. It's not too much. It's not too hard because she's sort of running around to different places. So yes, you're able to easily purchase this the meat on a stick, and you go to the urchin, and the urchin's like, it's very like.
It's for you.
You just hand it to her. Thank you, sir. And she does this thing. She tries to look as pathetic as possible while receiving it. But something you will notice, by the way, as she reaches up to take the meat from you, is that on her very ragged little jacket, she has this pin with a gemstone on it that you have seen before.
Excuse me.
Oh, yes, sir.
That
Yes, sir.
pin, where did you receive that?
And she quickly covers it up.
Oh, I'm
And she's
not.
like, I know. Just at it, you know.
It was. It belonged to a friend of mine. I'm just curious as to how you may
Slowly
have
begins
come across
eating
it.
some of the meat. Actually, quickly begins eating some of the meat for a moment. And she's like, and she's looking at you uncertainly at first, but you've just given her meat, so she will say, she's like, oh, nice, pretty lady gave it me to exchange to do a little work. And she says, sort of waving some of her remaining flyers that are getting a little bit of the stains from the sauce on them.
Thank you. You do good work.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Nods, scampers off, amazed at the luck that she has had today. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go and try and find Levitt.
Okay. You try to follow where Levitt went?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. So it's been a little bit. So there's a bit of, following and tracking that's going to be going on here. Unless do you have a move for this, or shall we draw from the common moves again?
I don't have a move for it.
Okay. I think you're gonna. Yeah, you're not close enough to read a situation yet, so I'm gonna ask you to act under pressure.
Okay.
There's balance. Excellent.
Ooh.
Okay. I will be coming back to you and to Levitt in a little bit. But there's a riot kind of going on, so I'm going to need to address Jackson. Because I need to know how Jackson is doing. So,
Well. This is a damn shame. This riot that I didn't cause.
No, absolutely. It wasn't you. You brought, I assume you rolled out some of your inventory, but you had like a whole pallet back on the ship. So I'm assuming you didn't bring the whole freaking thing.
Not the whole thing. That'd be crazy. Good thing if these nuns had ruined all the hams.
Yes.
I don't even know what I'd do.
Did you try to hold on to let me ask before I start describing stuff. Did you try to hold on to some of the hams in the lower part of the little cart or whatever it was that you were rolling them out in? I just for some reason I thought you were rolling them in a cart. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah,
is that right?
I was rolling them in a cart, and I tried to, because you said that she scattered some of them all over the ground, which is what started the whole altercation. Yeah, I guess at this point, since I'm trying to cut and run, it's basically how much canned ham can I get away with as I try to leave this strange situation that I had nothing to do with whatsoever.
Right. No, this wasn't you.
This fight that just broke out, just spontaneous.
Yeah.
Like maggots or anything else, that we believe in. Spontaneous generation. Fight.
Yeah. This is something that just happened on its own without any help from anyone else. So
yeah,
you
it's like it's a rash. The station broke out in a fight.
Yeah, just quite suddenly. So yeah, you have so you're able to try to wheel. You've got, I think, some of the. You're going to recover probably some of them. I think what we'll do once again, because again we enjoy mechanics. I think we're gonna act under pressure here, unless you have an inventory specific move you want to use.
I do believe I do.
All right.
Merchant. This is not a bartering thing, so.
Yep.
All right, yeah, I guess I'm acting under pressure.
Okie doke.
All right.
8, not terrible. So you falter, buckle, or break. The GM can offer you a worse outcome, hard bargain, ugly choice. So yeah, you're going to. I think you're probably going to lose most of the ones on your cart. As a possibility. Well, here's the deal. You can lose most of the ones on your cart, and you make it out of the fracas. Or you can retain half of the ones that were on your cart and have to deal with the fracas. What do we think?
Damn. Oh, so much lost inventory. Oh.
Either way, you'll still have some, but how much is the question.
You know, I have to live another day.
This is true.
I am always the most important inventory.
That's fair.
So, I will cut and run.
All right. So you're like dashing away from these folks that have started to get into it. These you would think that these this looked like the more peaceful brand of religious zealot, but they're giving as good as they get. Also, you do note, as you are at one point, you have to kind of duck, and there you do see for a moment as you're like trying to you have to dodge around folks. You kind of have to slide under some folks going at each other. At one point, it's like the merchants are largely on your side that are in this fight. It's mostly the religious zealots that are the problem. But as one of the sort of bigger fellow in this ashen robe starts coming forward, and he's got like a hammer in his hand, and you see, as he's coming closer, and you almost see this in slow motion, from out of nowhere, the horrid orange cat comes leaping forward with its razor claws and lands on the man's face. And the man goes down immediately.
I knew it.
And you were able to escape. I'm wondering where you're going to try to head. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, no. I just need to know. Yes. Are you going to try to immediately get out of there, or do you watch to see what happens to the man? I kind of need to know that too.
You know, I gotta be faster than that. I gotta be faster than the least fastest man around that cat. I gotta go.
Okay.
It's on the attack. Who knows what kind of bloodlust it has? It's already killed a man for sure. I have to leave.
Probably. Who knows? Who knows what's happening? You're dashing off. Where are you heading?
You know, it's very blind dash. It was really like, I have to be away from this, because once things start flying, it's all for naught. And now the cat's there. I have to get out of here.
Yeah, no, definitely. Understood. So you're going wherever you can, anywhere that seems safe.
Yes, also, the cat has a bunch of ham to fight over now. There's like ham spilled everywhere.
So
that place is it's a bloody battlefield.
So you're not really thinking, you're just using instinct to try to get somewhere safe.
Yes, that would be a good way of saying.
Then in that case, I would like you to sense what's beyond. I would like you to roll plus beyond for me, please.
Sure.
Okay. You receive fragments and mysteries. Excellent. Okay. Good. Good, good. So, let's see. Okay. Let me just check a thing real quick. Oh, I had my location decks mixed up. I was looking at things so like, these are very mundane locations. Okay. All right. You're going to find your way to... So you're kind of dashing around corners trying to get where you can. At some point you sort of turn and... Then suddenly things go a little quiet. You pass through something that feels... Not exactly like it feels like kind of a force field type thing, not a hard force field, but kind of a literally a minor sort of thing, some sort of environmental control field. And you find yourself in this quiet little park you're still in the same place. You haven't transported or anything like that. But yeah, you found yourself, and you can still hear muffled sounds of the market, sort of beyond where you are. But you see this sort of this spot that looks like you think you're on. It's like, so there are bridges that go from the outer ring to the inner ring, and here you are on, you think it's actually one of those bridges, but it's very wide and decorated. It's this little dome, energy field dome, that they've set up, where there are a number of plants from different worlds here. And it's this moment of sort of serenity that you get. And then you will notice you have a few seconds of serenity. And then if you're sort of standing there, maybe your eyes are closed, and then you hear boots sort of running. And you look, and they're you see on the sort of the opposite side, coming from the inner ring, you see what look like corporate troops. And they're wearing riot gear. They've got they've got like they've got the bats and the armor and the face shields.
Oh my.
And they run past you. They're not interested, they're not interested in bothering you, but they're taking a shortcut through the park.
Oh, well.
As they're sort of running in that direction. As you see that they're probably... Seems like they're off to try to control a riot or something. You're not sure. Perhaps you are sure. But you sort of watch as they go, and then stepping into the dome from the direction they're coming. From the direction? No. From the same direction they came, from the inside. coming behind them, there is there's a woman, tall woman, kind of blonde, almost. Yeah, she's very polished looking. She's wearing a long dress with darker colors. As she steps forward, and she does notice you. And she stops, and she watches them going further on. And she turns, she looks at you, she says, "Oh, you're very clever. You're very clever."
I simply
It's you, isn't it?
Shrug.
Oh, it is you. And she starts approaching. I think we should talk. I have a friend who works security, and he showed me something very interesting a few minutes ago. And she sort of looks around to see that you're alone here. She touches a button on a bracelet, and this little holographic monitor pops up. You see a security feed that's from above and a little bit behind of footage of you and the lead cultist having a bit of an altercation. Her scattering the hams. And then this conflict started, and then you turning and saying things to the merchants, which then gets them riled up. And you slipping away.
Now, wait just a second here. You're implying something now? Wait. I thought you were just saying words at me to make me feel good about my day. But what are you implying exactly?
Oh, both. But I just think that I saw that and I thought, there's a man that I want to hear more about what he has to say.
No one needs to hear more of what I have to say, necessarily. I just happen to be somewhere at a frustrating time. That's all.
So, someone told me not too long ago that there was someone who had been to a number of colonies not too long ago, selling hams of these brands, she says, gesturing to the tiny little more cans that are left in your cart, and talking about trying to connect things, trying to get us on more of a universal trade, perhaps even a universal currency. That wouldn't be you, would it?
Well, I might be guilty of one or two things in my life. But you, however, you seem to have been tracking me, looking for me. This isn't, you have me on an uneven footing. You have video of me, and now you are even walking backwards to say that you have word of me, knowledge of me before the camera.
The one thing connected up with the other. I will admit that I did hear a rumor that a ship that you were on might have been headed this way. Forgive me. Sometimes one likes to play games. My Grace, Leandro. I am with the Quantum Line Initiative.
I see.
You got the notice of some of our agents a while back, and we are interested in trying to revitalize the old Quantum Line. Connect things up, as you said. Used to run through here about close to a century ago. And then close to that time, and it isn't what it used to be, is it?
It's these damn new drives.
Exactly.
We're not even sure what the crystals even do to us.
Oh, there is so much that has to be done to try to even figure things out about them. And I think that these crystals, they have very different potential even from what we've been using them for, probably. I think there are more intelligent ways of getting at what they can really give us, you know? And yeah, the Singularity Drive, just abandoned as it was before its time, I think there are ways we can use both. Make things safer. And to reestablish the old trade lines that I think bring benefit to everybody.
I agree. Perhaps we do have some things to talk about.
Absolutely. Would you like to see my office?
Why not?
Excellent. And she will turn and lead you toward the inner ring. And I think this is a good time for us to take a break, if folks would be good with that. I've got an interview queued up. We'll be back in a little bit. See you folks soon. Welcome to the break. I am here with Drac, who is here to talk about the various amazing things they do. Hello!
Hi. Oh God, you really hyped me up a bunch. Okay.
Well, I mean, you quite honestly, it's I find it hard pressed to go out and find someone in the tabletop spheres who are coming off as more awesome as you are currently. To be perfectly honest. But,
God, I'm flattered. Thank you.
It's very cool. It has been very cool and just wonderful watching all of the various projects you've been involved in. I just wanted to, but in case anyone has been living under a rock or otherwise might be unaware, I just wanted to get a chance to chat with you a little bit and see what you're up to and how you came by this. So first off, how did you get into tabletop gaming?
So my story kind of has two fronts, I suppose.
Yeah.
One is when I learned about TTRPGs in the first place, just what they are in general. And I guess got interested in watching those, specifically actual plays. And the second is when I actually started playing them. And when I discovered TTRPGs first, obviously other than the like whispers I'd hear in my circles of D&D, I think D&D was like the one that would always come up. I didn't know what it was, even with the whispers I kept hearing. I just it didn't seem interesting. I was very much, when I was younger, I was very much more of I was a weird mixture of jock and nerd, but I definitely leaned more on the jock side. So I was like, oh, D&D, that's for nerds. And I just never looked into what it was in the first place. But then I was in university, and reached a point where I just realized I couldn't really fall asleep without like listening to YouTube videos or playing something on Twitch. So I was on YouTube. Listening to Markiplier, the classic gaming YouTubers. Yeah. And I fell asleep to Markiplier. And when I woke up, I found out that autoplay was on my YouTube account, so I just kept playing through different stuff, and ended up in the middle of a Geek and Sundry actual play of Foreververse. It was run by Ivan Van Norman, incredible person in the TTRPG space. But they're running a game called Foreververse, and I woke up in the middle of it like, what is happening right now? What is this thing? It's weird. People are sitting around a table, improvising over a story and rolling dice. What's this? So I watched it and just kind of hooked on TTRPG actual plays. And so I decided watching a bunch of them. I watched a good amount of them, good like maybe year and a half or so before I actually started playing them. And I actually started playing them when I don't know if you've heard of this person, but Brian Iyengar, you know.
Oh yeah, no, heard of this individual.
There's a small creator in the group, you know. There's a small creator in the space. No, so Brian Iyengar was on a show called Hyper RPG. And they had an actual play called Kolok 1991, and I'd been watching it for a while now. But then Abria joined the cast, I think in season 2 of it, and watching Abria play. It's a black, loud, like there's no way to deny it. They're very loud, have a presence about themselves. A black, loud woman playing this game and playing it incredibly had me thinking like, I actually want to play TTRPGs now. And I think that's when it really clocked in my mind that up until now, I'd only really seen white creators, like white streamers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it never really clicked in my brain that there was a space for me in it. So for a very long time, I was just satisfied with watching rather than playing. But seeing Abria play was when it kind of clicked. Like, no, I'm not just okay with watching it. I want to play this stuff. So soon afterwards, I joined my university's D&D club, or TTRPG. It was Warhammer and tabletop role-playing games.
Yeah.
I saw the Warhammer, looked at my wallet, and was like, maybe not Warhammer. Yeah.
Now, I walked into a Games Workshop store. Like just once or twice. The very brief time, and this was even back in the 90s when I was, I very briefly I was in the UK, and I did not realize prior to that point that there were actual physical Games Workshop stores, which there are a lot of them sort of over here too now. But I walked in and just seeing the array of it, I was already intimidated just by the sheer amount of stuff it looks like you have to buy to get into that. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
It was honestly. I was very lucky. I've told this kind of portion of the story to a lot of people, and a lot of people mention how lucky I was to have a TTRPG club in university. Many people didn't. But so my club was very welcoming and very encouraging. Even when I did walk away from Warhammer, because that just seemed too expensive, I had many people who were like, hey, I'll let you borrow my figurines and minis and stuff like that. I think I ended up just walking away from it because I like owning my stuff.
Yeah.
But then also having to own it is expensive. So I was like, oh, I can't do that. So I played D&D. I played a one shot. I played pre-gen characters. I think my first character was a human fighter. You know, the vanilla of the vanilla, depending on who you ask. And I loved it. It was great. Absolutely loved it. When I rolled my first die, it was the critic die, and then I rolled a metal die afterwards, and I was like, yeah, I can feel the addiction to dice hitting now, just from day one. I think the very next day I bought my own set of metal dice and started playing my D&D club. This was like right at the beginning, like maybe 2 or 3 months before the pandemic hit. I was playing, so I hadn't really been playing for very long before the pandemic hit. But yeah, I played a campaign where I continued as a fighter, but played as a dragonborn. Because I just love dragons. Honestly, it's kind of where my name came from. And kind of was hooked ever since.
Yay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I will say at this point that I was lucky enough to have you on this channel in one shot of Medical Bay 3. That was a game that was being worked on at the time by one of the indie fellows. I'm trying to remember which one now. Alas. The Medical Bay 3 was put together by, let me just make sure that I have that. No, Googling it does me no good. I'm so sorry if you happen to be looking at this and you're the designer of Medical Bay 3, but I'm afraid it has dropped out of my brain. But as to who who put it together. But in any case, it's folks can go back in the various videos and find them if they so desire. It's a couple of years back. and it's just basically
it's
it's a
been a
medical
couple of
drama in
years.
space.
Yeah.
And it was so fun having you on there. Just seeing you looked like you were taking to it immediately. I had trouble believing it was your first time, I will say.
Yeah, no.
But
it was my first time, and I remember being very nervous and decided that I'd just play a nervous character to hide that. But no, yeah, that was my first time.
And it worked out quite well. And as I recall, I think your character helped sort of, it just really was, I mean, everyone was contributing, but you really was sort of got into solving the overall problem with the patient that was in there. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And since then, you have done many other things on streams. And I'm wondering if you'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, so when the pandemic hit, a lot of the games, I'd finished one campaign. It was a fairly short campaign. I mean, depending on who you ask, actually, it's a fairly long campaign. We had maybe 10, 12 sessions, and then we ended that campaign, and we were starting a new one. This is all off stream, this was with my D&D club.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID hit, and for a while we kept playing in person because we were all quarantining and we were all isolating. We were each other's bubble, essentially. But it got to a point where it just wasn't really possible, especially after the holidays arrived. So we all were going back from leaving the dorms to go back home for the holiday. So we tried playing over online through Discord. And considering everyone that I was playing with wasn't really a streamer, they didn't really invest in a good mic or a good cam or anything like that. It became increasingly hard for everyone to play. Either mics would cut out or the internet still wouldn't be stable. So it became hard to keep playing. So I kind of turned to playing online with, I guess, for lack of a better term, strangers. Started looking to play on streams and stuff like that. And that's how I found you, Other Dark, and played Medical Way 3. Fell in love with streaming. That's where I met Jen.
Yeah.
And Jen kind of was the one to be like, hey, you're really cool. Do you want to play together more? And I can't remember for the life of me what channel it was, but they used to be part of a channel and invited me over to play on that channel as well. And that's kind of how streaming kind of started chugging away for me. I'd streamed before, but not teach RPGs. I tried my hand at being a video game streamer for a couple of times. Yeah, but that was my first time, I guess, performing really on camera. And Jen pulled me deeper into it, and I just kept going deeper and deeper ever since. I think, God, I won't be able to list everything I've done since then. But some of the cool things I've done that have still stuck with me is that I've been on Dragon Talk, which is very cool. I think within the year or two that I started playing, which was just ridiculous to me. I had been on D&D Live, their show they do every year. I think they do it maybe twice every year, I think, at this point. I'm not entirely sure. But I got to play on the official D&D channel, played with Roll20. I was on a campaign that was on the D&D channel. It's been a lot. It's been interesting and fun, and I definitely didn't see myself doing all of this stuff when I first started. But here I am. And now I'm co-founder of my own channel. I'm being asked to be on other games and interviews that you want here. It's been cool. Every so often I'd sit back and just think about where I started and where I am right now, and it's been a pretty wild ride that I don't intend on getting off of anytime soon.
Brilliant. Actually, yeah. Could we talk just for a moment about Friends Who Roll Dice? The channel that you started. What was sort of the impetus getting that together?
Yeah. So I will say there's some dirty laundry involved. So I won't give any names or anything like that.
Oh. But
a channel that I was a part of previously wasn't so great, especially to marginalized folks, especially to women. So a bunch of us kind of decided we're going to leave and just make our own channel and do better. And I think we have pretty well, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not only leaving names out because I don't want to cause drama, but I also just legitimately cannot remember the name of the channel we were part of.
Oh, yeah.
Because they kind of fell off the face of the map very soon after we left.
There were a lot of those that sort of, back in this probably like 2020-ish, mid-2020-ish, we were talking. Yeah. there were a lot of channels that were suddenly discovering that they needed to take a look at themselves. And I think so that was definitely a thing. I mean, I definitely took a look at myself during that time. I'll tell you that. So that was definitely a point when there was a lot of that happening. So I'm very glad you weathered that and found something better.
Yeah. I will say, luckily, I wasn't the one who took the brunt of any of it. But a friend of mine was, and once they told me about it, I thought, I'm not going to play with this group anymore. Yeah. And then they went on to create French Roll Dice and invited me. I actually came on, so even though I am a co-founder, I'm technically haven't been part of French Roll Dice as long as everyone else. Just by a few weeks, quite literally a few weeks. Okay. They kind of put it together, and then a few weeks later, they were like, "Hey, Drex, do you want to be a part of this? You're pretty cool." And I'm like, if you think I'm cool, yeah, sure. So it's been fun. It's been cool seeing it grow the past 2 years, almost 3 years now. It's weird to think about. To almost have a name for itself as well, which has been very interesting as well. It's been cool. The name is valid, I think. I think from the people who've been on French Roll Dice, it's been really cool to hear that people legitimately feel like this is a safe space to play. And we started it so that we can introduce new people to new systems, introduce just new people in general to TTRPGs, try to make it as friendly to new players as possible, while also encouraging and keeping veterans interested as well, which I think we've been doing a pretty good job of so far.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Definitely, no, it very much gives off the vibe of being that kind of place, and it's wonderful to have. It's wonderful to have it out there. Well, if folks want to find you, if they're looking for you, where should they go?
You can find me on Twitter at Draconics. That's DRAKONIQUES. I kind of stream all over the place, so follow me on Twitter is honestly the best place to find what I'm doing at any given moment. I'll be entirely honest, most of the time I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing at any given moment until a couple of days prior. So you'll be just on alert and just on your toes as I am at any given moment. You can also follow French Roll Dice. I'm not often on camera there, but I work behind the scenes with admin and just charity work and just general event organizing there. Actually, that's my specific job there. What else? That's honestly it, other than I guess the shows I'm on. So just follow me on Twitter to find out what show I'm doing when you're watching this.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, it's wonderful. It's wonderful getting to see you again, I gotta tell you. But I'm going to go ahead and throw things back over to my future self, and who's doing something, I have no idea what. Who can know? Because I too don't know what I'm doing usually until a few minutes out of time. So I understand. But in any case, folks, do take care, and we will see you all of a sudden. we have returned, and so I'm going to say that so after some time passes, the thing that is possibly a riot, possibly not, it's mostly just a brawl, really, is going to be put down by corporate guards. Fergus, you get to hear about this because you're right there, sort of at the in the office. You're able to get the necessary forms filled out. It's not too big a deal. You have done things like this before, so it's not... I don't think it's a major thing. Is there anything in particular you're trying to do with that? Are you trying to conceal anything or shift things around? You're trying to get permits for a permit for Jackson. Is there anything else you're looking to do with this?
He's trying to do it free. He'd also, if at all possible, would like to make sure that he's got a copy of the seal or the stamp, or at least the image on whatever paperwork he's got, because Percival has a side thing with, let's call it creative art endeavors, and could use a copy of this.
Yes.
Image to aid with those art endeavors.
Creative art endeavors. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, so let's see, this is a thing that might require a little bit of subterfuge to do this properly. So do you, first of all, and again, I know I keep asking this, but do you have any moves that apply here? Otherwise, I'm going to probably ask you to do a manipulation of sorts.
I think instead of manipulating, because I don't have any moves, but I think Fergus is more going to use kind of his size and intimidate.
You're trying to intimidate the...
Yes, I want to try to not threatening violence or anything like that, just intimidate them through...
Intimidate the permit officer?
Yes, through who they are. You know, this is Fergus. Fergus knows everybody.
Okay.
And Fergus can make sure that the businesses suffer.
That's fair. Well, they're about to suffer.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that roll for me then. Your intimidation roll. We can see if through your mannerisms and your general... Oh, you do. Okay. So either she's going to cave in and do what you want, or she will endure the consequences of your threat. Which do you wish?
He does. There's no consequences. He just wants his permits for free.
Okay. Do you make any specific sort of... Do you make any specific sort of threat, or is it all just sort of hinting like, we expect this for free?
Merchants don't need to set up when we stop at the dock. Of course, that's that just doesn't bring any money into Chimeras. There are other planets, other ports, and the merchants that travel with us, they may choose to just stay on board instead of coming out here to sell their wares.
All right, fine. This is probably, I assume, like after you've been at this for the better part of an hour, and it's like, fine, yes, all right, fine. Anything you need. We can. Yes, there's a lot going on right now that I need to. Okay, fine. And because there's all this wrap up happening, and there are people there are security officers knocking on the door she needs to go and talk to, and all of that.
He's takes his hat off again. Thank you, Miss. I really appreciate your help.
She will hit the button, and the shields will come up, and be like, yes, please, just go, please.
Take the papers, fold them up, shove them inside the shirt,
and
off we go.
So a couple of security officers shoulder their way in past you as you're leaving. There's a certain amount of you're going to come out into the outer ring, and you're going to see that there is a certain amount of hang on, I just need to check something real quick. Just need to check some things real quick. Got it. That you'll notice there's a certain amount of there are people in there are both merchants and people in gray robes being detained, and they're being led off to be questioned or whatnot. There are some of them were injured. There weren't any huge injuries this time. Nothing major. Nobody died. But there were lots of scrapes and bruises, and some people got hurt. So there are people being taken for to a medical bay. You see there is sort of this strange sort of thing with grumbling with the security officers because they're corporate security officers again, and it's like they just want stuff to end fast. They don't actually care. They care nothing for justice. They just want quiet. I think to reach back and use use a deep memory on that. Anyway, doesn't matter. They don't care. They don't care. They just want things to run smooth. They just want things to run smoothly. They want the trains to arrive on time. That's once again just all they want. So the market is quieter than usual. What would you like to do?
Well, Fergus walks out, is looking around for Jackson. In case Jackson's close by, got caught up in this, so that they can extract Jackson if need be. So as they're looking around for Jackson, Fergus will start kind of humming a little tune, just a little tune, and basically they're calling out for Trinket.
Okay.
Because where there's a brawl, there's going to be a Trinket.
There's gonna need
so they're
to
just
be...
kind of calling to see where Trinket is.
Yeah. I need to figure out some things here. Yeah, something real important. Yes. You're calling out. You're looking for Trinket, and obviously you can't find Jackson. But you're calling out to try to find Trinket. I think we're going to. I'm torn here. You're not going to find Trinket immediately.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, I think, I'm going to ask you to read a situation. I'm going to ask you to roll plus brain.
All right.
Okay, you got a 7 to 9. You get 2 of the questions on the list as you're figuring things out, and we can kind of morph these as necessary if it comes to it.
Okay.
Go ahead and set these here.
The first thing he wants to read on is what here is not what it seems.
Okay. Something that you're gonna note. What here is not what it seems. There's so much. But it's interesting. From what you can tell in the aftermath of all of this, the merchants are a lot more disparate than they put up a good front, but often they're just, a lot of them are kind of looking to just take care of themselves. And so I know some folks are talking like this was inevitable, that there was going to be, that the company was going to start swatting things down. Given a lot that's been going on. The fervor that the Darists are, the folks from the Church of Dara. I don't know if it's called a church. We'll have to ask Mem. But the Darists have been expressing seems to be there seems to be some degree, from what you were able to gather secondhand, there's some degree of desperation to it, as though there is another thing going on, that they believe they're the only ones they can see it. Which, I mean, is not uncommon for religious organizations, but it's weird. There's never been that sort of ping about this planet before. And you would almost imagine, and this is like a thing that's, usually way above your pay grade per se, but it's like, there's been a lot of debate about the fuel sources and everything, and it's like someone is trying to bend things in a particular direction to get what they want. There is an unseen actor here. Not sure who it is or who they're manipulating, but there's something happening like that.
Okay. What should I be on the lookout for going forward?
You have this feeling in kind of, sometimes you feel the hair follicles growing a little bit. Sort of tingling that happens when there are major events of some kind going on. You get this very occasionally. There's a thing happening that is not just about humanity. And it's kind of funny because other times that you've had that feeling has been on this planet a lot of times. Not all the time. But there's something about this planet, there's something about this sector. There's a thing coming. You don't know what the thing is.
Can I roll sense what's beyond?
If you like, you can do that. I will tell you first, however, you are going to find Trinket.
Okay.
You'll see. You'll see that the. You'll see your cat. And just basically the gray bedraggled kitty that looks like because there were a couple of these corporate officers that were trying to get at something underneath a building, and they couldn't get on it, and they got called away, and they're like, fine, and they head off, and afterward Trinket comes out from underneath the building.
Did you have fun? And you didn't kill anyone?
Sort of is idly looking at a food stand.
What did you... Do I see any evidence of the canned hams that were left behind?
There is a lone canned ham sitting out. Actually, about halfway between here and the permit office, in the middle of the square.
Vargas goes, "Don't move. And I won't tell your parents about this." And walks over, scoops up the canned ham, comes back and says, "All right, let's go. We've got to go see Percival. Do you know where Jackson went?"
You're going to walk a little bit of a ways. Sort of in this, not quite in the direction of the permit office, but there's like takes you around a little bit of a part of like an eighth turn, and we'll kind of like sit and just sort of look, and you're looking and you're seeing you're seeing that you're at an intersection, and with one of the wider bridges. You look and you see there's a garden in the middle of the bridge.
But no sign of Jackson.
No sign of Jackson.
Well, if he wants his permit, he knows where to find us. Come on, let's go see Percy. And I tuck the canned ham into a pouch and just walk towards... And then I go back to talking to Trinket by humming.
Awesome. You harmonize a bit. I'm going to shift over to Levitt. Because we need to see a thing real quick. So...
I was muted. I was saying, Jim, do we need to see a thing?
We do need to see something happen here real quick. You are... This elevator goes up quite a ways. And shifts over and moves sideways.
Is there like a big window, like where I can look out over? Yeah, I'm watching.
It's one of those. Once you get up above the main ring, you can see out across this colony, and you can see like the outer ring, and you can see you're shifting over toward the inner ring.
Are there any signs of what I have like walked into, like any like I guess not sigils, but like any like iconography of like what this might, like if it's a business or I don't know, a cult, that I've walked into?
Oh, well, so there are going to be a couple of things that are happening. You're going to see a note of the building that you're heading towards. Looks like it might be some kind of a chemical plant, but it's on the inner ring. I'm also going to say we're going to get a brief cut to a view of the elevator from the outside, way from the street level, where we see Rust looking and seeing up and seeing Levitt through the glass, and quickly just running along, keeping track. And Levitt doesn't see Rust. This is something else.
Levitt's just whistling.
Too many people down there. Could I ask you to read a situation, please?
Sure. What is that one?
That one is brains.
You can ask.
I shall. 6.
And I'm
excellent.
not gonna do it.
Good.
Like I said, just in a corner, whistling, enjoying my elevator ride. Thinking about how I'm gonna have canned ham when I get back to the ship.
These folks, I'm gonna say these folks are very enigmatic to an extent. It's like there's something about their bearing that is a little weird, but you cannot put your finger on it.
I've met a lot of weird people these days.
So I mean, it's hard to say. It really is hard to say. But let's see. Shall I? Wait, no. There's another thing I could mark instead in my little book here. Yeah. We could do that. We could do that. Yes. Yeah. I think that one looks better. Okay, we'll do that one. Anyway, so yes, you are you're moved into this area where where it's like you're in, locks in, goes up, and the doors open, and you can see there's this it opens into a hallway that spreads out and goes in a few different directions. You're going through these kind of like sky tube type things, walkways, and they take you sort of into an area that looks like it's near the chemical plant. It looks like an office that doesn't have any names on it or anything. It's just like someone's just sort of crouching in here. Maybe it's hard to say, but they have a key to open the thing. They wave a thing and the door opens. I think we're going to see another long shot of Rust kind of moving down one of these corridors and kind of seeing around the corner that Levitt is going into this office. But they sort of take you into the back. There's a sort of an open, empty area that should be, maybe there's a desk there. It's like a reception area. Nobody's there. It's plain walls. There's nothing to indicate what this place has been used for.
Is it this kind of place, Jim, that like it's like empty, like a front, or is it empty? There's sheets over furniture, like it hasn't been used in a while.
It's more of a sheets over furniture type place.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That helps me a little bit. Okay.
And as they take you through, you'll see that this room, the office, actually it's not a tiny office. It's big enough. There is a back door, accessible through here that leads to another tube. And there's a desk, and sitting on the edge of the desk is someone you recognize. It takes you a minute because it has been a very long time since you've seen this person. So he is about average height. He has sort of a dark tannish skin, his graying hair, very very close cropped graying hair. He's wearing a very sort of an expensive jacket, and it's this underneath. Well, you see, it's like sort of this. It's this red and white kind of specifically patterned clothing. It's like it's like a uniform, but not exactly like a uniform. The trousers and underjacket. It's like it's made for a very specific thing. It's made to allow people to move lightly, you think. And you think he is carrying a weapon or two, though how close, it's under the jacket. And he is clean shaven, has a pair of glasses, and it takes you a second. He smiles as you come in, and it takes you a second to realize this was one of your father's friends a very long time ago. He didn't come by a lot, but he very occasionally would come by from time to time. You were a kid the last time you saw this guy. And, if you recall correctly, and if I can find it in my notes, where is it? There it is. If you recall correctly, because, yeah, this you'd remember. His name, you believe, is Wolf Greville.
Wolf Greville? Is that, besides it being my father's acquaintance, does that stick out any other bells for me?
Well, he was a noble. He also was very good in working between different social circles and connecting people up with other people. You vaguely remember that the last time... You never really got to sit in on any of his meetings with your father. But you vaguely remember that he had some kind of... there was some kind of a thing going. He used to... It's like... They became kind of estranged, you think, maybe, thinking back, because they used to do stuff together more, and then they did stuff together less. And so, yeah, there are a number of different groups this guy has liaised for, you think, in the interim. You think it's possible that he might have you're not sure if he lost his shirt along with a lot of other nobles at the time that the time the company started coming in and buying stuff up, and things changing, and you're you're very intimately familiar with how that went down. Okay. When but yeah.
Okay, I think I'm like, for a moment I'm confused, but then I'm not that confused because it's not surprising to see a noble working like both sides or fallen from grace and doing criminal that's Levitt's world.
Yeah.
And I think she considers, should she play dumb, like she doesn't know him, but then I think she thinks better of it and clears her throat and just like, Mr. Gravel, it's been quite some time since I've laid eyes on you. You're a far bit away from epitome.
Oh, it has been. It has been so long. Look at you.
I think I was much younger the last time I saw you.
Indeed. I hear you've become quite skilled at a number of things.
I would say so. I like to think it that way.
Would you like a drink?
No, I'm quite fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Part of this was you'll have to forgive an old man. I just wanted, part of this was I just wanted to see you again. I didn't know that it was, I didn't know for certain it was going to be you. But I definitely recognized the name, and your reputation definitely precedes you.
What would that reputation be? Sometimes I'm quite curious what it...
Well, you've developed very particular skills, from my understanding.
That is quite true.
This would, so... I don't want to... I don't want to make anything... any of this unpleasant for you, but this would be a job of the more permanent caliber type of endings, if you know what I'm talking about. Is this something that you would want to? Is this the kind of job you want to take on right now?
Well, I don't usually stick around one place or with one employer for a long time unless it behooves me.
Well, maybe it's an interesting question. There's one specific job, I should say, the ending of which will have permanent results for the individual involved, and then afterwards we would see. I'm sorry, I should be clearer on this. But we would hope that this would lead to a continuing relationship, if you're interested in that.
What is it exactly you would like me to do, Mr. Gravel?
And he crosses his arms, and he smiles. He says, There's people that I work with sometimes note that there are difficulties that come up that don't look like difficulties at first, but they become such, unfortunately. And we've seen that there is something that is going to that looks fairly harmless on the surface, but is, we think, going to become more of a problem. So, unfortunately, we're going to need to have at least one particular individual removed from the problem. So that it is removed from the equation, I should say. So as to prevent it from becoming the sort of problem we're thinking it's going to be.
Permanently removed?
I'm afraid so, yes.
All right.
Is that something that you want to do?
What are we talking, pay-wise here?
Well, he is, going to turn and, say, well, there are a few things I can offer you here. But notably, if you just want to do it as a one and done job, he will bring up a little device that you can show numbers on.
A calculator?
Something. One of its functions is a calculator.
I'm sorry. I'm such a smart ass. I'm so sorry.
Part of it can be a calculator. Absolutely.
I know what you meant. I'm just a bitch.
Space calculator. It's fine. He shows you a number with a number of zeros behind it. This isn't exactly like entirely fortune shifting, but it would help a lot. It would certainly help a lot.
All right, Mr. Gravel. You don't have to show me any of the offer. I know better than most how your sort are. I will work alongside you. I'll do it on one condition. I mean, besides the pay. That's a non-negotiable. You will have to add 3 more zeros to that. As you know, I am very well sought after. Myself and my crew, the SS Chimera, we're not to be touched while I'm working along. I'm doing this for you. Any jobs.
Huh.
I don't want anything happening that puts any of us in danger while I'm trying to work for you.
I can promise that so long as they don't interfere.
Of course not. They won't know anything about this.
Wait, cut to Rust looking at the... No. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I'll stay out of the way. I'll make sure of it. Just keep someone in the shadows, making sure that anyone I'm after, their men don't, put anyone on them.
Quite. Very good, very good. Yes. I think that'll be acceptable.
And also, I don't go after children.
Oh, no. These are not children. So we have a deal.
Yes. Lucky for you, I happen to enjoy my line of work. More than most.
Excellent. And as he's spoken, you didn't even barely notice this, but the other 2 people have left the room while you're talking about this. He will lean forward and he says, all right. Well, here are the basics. the company is going to be sending a mission out that they're touting as a big exploratory mission within the week. They're sending a mission out to look into Attis Comet Attis, the spectral comet. And we need the leader of that mission eliminated. His name is Lucas Markov. And I think that is a good place for us to close it, if you folks would be all right with that. At least one person knows the significance of that name.
Amazing. I have no idea who that is. I'm looking at our people list, and that's not a name on there.
Nope. It's not on the public list.
No.
Thank you all so much. I very much appreciate it. This is a delight getting to get into this, and I'm so glad that things are happening. We're gonna go ahead and go around and do our outros. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you and any final, plug anything you like, any final thoughts you have about this episode. And if you're good for it, we're gonna start with Katy.
Yeah, I'm Katy. You can find me all over the internet at Katyface. Right now, I am running. I'm a professional DM. Right now, I'm looking for players for my a D&D 5e campaign I'm running that starts the 13th. So not this upcoming Wednesday, but next Wednesday. It's called Sands of Eternity. Basically, it's about a group of heroes that need to fight or not a resurrected queen who is maybe trying to block out the sun. It's cool. It's fun. It's a good time. But if you're interested, it's on my Twitter. Check it out. All seats are available right now, so if you're interested, just go check it out. Ask me if you have any questions. But yeah, can't wait till next week.
Yay. Yeah, folks, definitely take a look at that because Katy is an excellent GM. Definitely look into that. And we will head over to Robin.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robin. You can find me on Twitter at r_Omulus. And if you look at Twitch chat, you can find my other places where I am. I do art and commissions. You can DM me on any platform or email me at romulus.commissions@gmail.com.
Yay. Very cool. And we'll head over to Cleric.
Hello, I'm Cleric of Cord. You can find me over on Blue Sky, where I'm usually just kind of scrolling and lurking in a bunch of various Discord servers, because that's what I do. I'm an antisocial social. Something like that. I lurk. That's what I do. I lurk a lot. And you can find me here every Sunday, playing Fergus, and worrying about Trinket.
I'm sure Trinket will be fine.
Yeah, Trinket can take care of himself, but Fergus made a promise to his parents, so.
Yeah, it's true. It's fair enough. And finally we will head over to Hollow.
Hey everybody, I'm Hollow. You can find me on Blue Sky as at Hollow Invective. Also on Twitter. I'm still dead naming it because someone can dead name their kid at Hollow Invective. Over on Twitter. So yeah.
Excellent. All right. Who am I? That's a great question. I never know. I'm Jim. And you can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch, YouTube, and most social media platforms. Where I'm not OtherDoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. This Tuesday evening, I'm going to be over on the Lost Caravan's Twitch channel, hosting a one-shot of The Deep Forest. It's a drawing game that's made by the same person that did The Quiet Year, about monsters recovering in a forest after the humans have left. That's going to be for today is World Wildlife Day. They're doing a 1-week charity as a result to benefit Rewild. So come and check that out. That'll be Tuesday night. On Thursday night, with any luck, we will be premiering our short campaign of Blades in the Dark. You will see people perhaps you recognize on that, and I am very much looking forward to it. I've never had a chance to play, and so I am very, very excited. So very much looking forward to that. Brian will be running. And then, of course, Sundays, we have more of this. So I am very much looking forward to all manner of things going on. I might do one-shots at some point in the near future. I got to get my brain in gear for that. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and head off. We might say hi to someone when we hit the end card. I'll figure that out once we do that. But in the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.